Hello, Leo. How are you doing today? Hopefully, everyone is doing great. Really looking forward today to jumping into the 6 to 8 week forecast that's coming through for you. I'm actually going to be using a brand new deck, which I'll talk about in a little bit, one that you guys had suggested for me. I'm going through all of the suggestions and picking maybe 4 or 5 that I want to test out. So thank you so much to everybody that participated on that thread on my community page. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. Before you ask, Apollo's right there just sleeping and hanging out in the background. And I didn't want to disturb him because he looks so cute. A little bit later, when he decides to get up and walk around, I'll pick him up. But yeah, we needed to let him just relax in the background. So first of all, welcome. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. That's my puppy, Apollo. And you are watching your monthly reading today. This can always be used for your sun, your rising, also for your moon sign. And if you really know any aspect of your chart, including Venus here, you can use it for that. I always like to begin with channeled messages. Those are things that I get directly from dream interpretation or from real life experiences. I'm going to be pulling from an insect that kind of made it into my life yesterday, and we'll talk about that particular totem today. Then I move on to a Celtic Cross, which is what most readers on YouTube look at. But I like to really let mine take whatever shape or form it wants to rather than focusing solely on love or your person. We'll be focusing on you and things going on around you. In the expanded forecast, which follows, we'll look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Then I always like to go into a few different areas that I've listed below. Big idea, overarching sort of connecting theme, blessings and blocks, things that could be helping you get closer to or further away from your goals. Then we'll interact a little bit and do a viewer and a reader's choice. And then at the very end, we always take a look at a final card here. But we do a meditation in between that to kind of like get everything cleared out and to get you into good space. So that's the overall sort of energy and organization for today. Before I get started, just a couple of quick notes here. First of all, if you ever need more information about who I am or what's going on, you can go to my website. And before I get too busy, I'm going to go ahead and put that link right here for you so you have it. And feel free to check that out for upcoming readings. And also, I'll be adding this new deck to my list of decks there in a little bit. If you would like to follow me on social media, please feel free to do that. It's a great way to get reminders about upcoming readings and just kind of participate in all the new events and readings that are coming up. Also, a great way to show support here is to subscribe. It's easy, it's free, it helps the channel grow. And for some reason, sometimes 60 to 70% of the people that show up don't do that. So I think it's because it's the word subscribe instead of follow. So give me a subscribe/follow if you can, and a thumbs up as well. It helps YouTube discover this video and pass it on to other people. And that's pretty much everything. If you really want to show a little bit of extra TLC, you can become a member. You'll see that everyone with the green text, we have a lot of members in the room today, a bunch actually. Everybody with green text, thank you so much. You've already helped me more than you imagine. If you'd like to become a contributing member, you can click on this icon below the sort of chat area. And there's ways that you can give a sticker or become a member there. Members get to vote and also ask me questions occasionally. Okay, so let's get into your channeled messages. As I said, yesterday, right when I was wrapping up the other video, I was just kind of looking around the lights and everything, and I saw what looked like it was a bee because it just came out of nowhere and landed, and kind of took me back for a second. I had to wrap up the other video, and then as I looked a little closer, I realized it was a jumping spider. If any of you have encountered a jumping spider, they're very hard to get out of your house because every time you come near them, they either jump to the side, to the left, or toward you, which is sort of disconcerting. So anyway, it's a fun little creature, and I looked into its sort of characteristics, and I think it really brings forward some great energy and information for your sign. So let me get everything set up here, and we're going to take a look at your channeled messages for this month. Again, we're going to be looking at the next 6 to 8 weeks ahead. Okay, so just one totem today. It's the jumping spider. And some fun facts about the jumping spider. Like I said, it can take you by surprise, and it looks like other insects. And I'll talk about this doppelganger energy that it has. Some of them can actually bring in their legs and their abdomen in a way that kind of makes them look like ants if they're smaller. This one was big. It looked like a bee. But they don't quite look like what you expect. So there is that element of surprise or being unexpected in some way, shape, or form. So definitely kind of keep an open eye and open mind on that. Let's look at some of the facts here. First of all, they have amazing vision, stereoscopic vision, 4 sets of eyes. Each set is specialized. And unlike human eyes, where we're kind of like, we can see shapes and forms and everything, the only thing that we kind of sacrifice is evening vision. Each set of their eyes can kind of pick up on different things. So some of the simple eyes will just pick up on movement or changes in color, like whether it's light or dark outside. And some of them are much better at kind of seeing you. Definitely the forward-facing ones were picking up on my movement, because anytime I got close, I could see the spider moving around, which was kind of really interesting. Instead of building webs, they jump at their prey. They basically they're much more forward and much more bold. In fact, I think one of the names for one of the North American spiders was like the bold jumping spider. And the one that I met definitely was bold. They are excellent dancers. The male spiders tend to put on a show in the mating ritual, and the women will judge the sort of dancing skills, and I thought that was fun. They can mimic other insects for sure, and I was thinking that it was something that it was not. Let's see here. Keep your eyes and ears open. I think this is the most important thing when you see something like a spider, because when we go into, I didn't even put this in the sort of cards here, but let me talk about it. If I were to pull a few sort of energetic connections in mythology, one of the things that I would automatically go to is a trickster god like Loki in Nordic mythology. And there's a lot of even like Native American trickster gods, and there's spider gods basically. Spider gods are pretty amazing because they can shape shift. It's a really good energy for attracting things. In fact, in this particular deck, I kind of previewed the cards. The Wheel of Fortune is a spider's web. So when you want to think about what you're pulling into your life, one of the things that you could be focusing on is this sort of attractive energy. And I see the nets as something that allow you to bring things into your life. So one of the things, when I look at the spider, even the jumping spider, even though the web wasn't exactly its sort of forte, any spider energy reminds you that you can get what you're looking for, and you can do it by the element of surprise. There's also a warning with this that sometimes you can get wrapped up in something that you didn't expect. So sometimes we get pulled into other people's drama or trauma or just general issues because we're sort of in the periphery and the first person that they grab. So be mindful of that, and don't be afraid to kind of cut yourself free of that if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, okay? So a little bit of a sidebar there, but a very important one. Keep your eyes and ears open. Sometimes the easiest and the most obvious thing in front of you is actually the best solution. We can tend to overcomplicate and over-communicate, something I talked about in yesterday's reading. Simplification and being just very, very concise, I think, is going to be your best friend. Stay tuned into what people are trying to show or tell you. Not everybody's good at basically being able to say what's on their mind. A lot of times people have to basically show you in the way that they're speaking or thinking, and they just want you to kind of, they want you to pick up on it. Why can't you get the hint? Whenever people kind of go into this energy of why can't you get the hint, I think that we sometimes are assuming way too much of others. This recently happened with like a friend of mine where somebody, like a mutual friend, was sort of trying to make a hint, and they got annoyed that someone didn't pick up on it. To me, I think that you can't really punish people for not being as tuned in as you. If you need something, say it. If you don't want something, say it as well. This includes if someone's bothering you. Otherwise, it's kind of on you if that person doesn't get the cues. Some people just lack the sort of common sense and maybe just have a different communication style. So repeat your sort of limits and boundaries. Step away if you need to. Removing yourself from the situation can help. You can also talk to someone else. Assume that all actions are being noticed because of all the eyes in all the directions. By assuming that people are noticing what you're doing, try to do a great job because it will get basically rewarded. And if there's any nonsense, if there's any sort of garbage that needs to be cleaned up, now is the time to clean it up. So when it comes to contracts, thoughts, and actions, we want to try to clarify it because people can tune into what the sort of frequency of your energy is. So if you're really annoyed, if you're really angry, if you're really resentful, that just sort of creates more of the same. So finding a way to release and cut yourself free of that web is going to be important. We'll probably work with a web in our meditation later, kind of cutting ourselves free. Originality is so important. So kind of the antithesis or the opposite of what I was seeing with the spider in my own home, where it looked like something else. This isn't a time to copy. Of course, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, but there may be something that is just a little bit better attuned to what you are, like trying to do than repeating something that's already out there. So when I think of people that are true innovators, they're not copying what had happened before, or if they are, they're putting their own special spin on it. So this is really about making sure that it's either in the originality overall or the originality of the delivery. It's kind of like a cover song where sometimes the covers become more popular than the originals because you associate that one person's interpretation. So if you're not going to be original in the thought, the interpretation and the presentation has to be original. So try to find your own special flavor, your own special approach, and that's going to be important. Again, the boldness of that spider reminded me of the same thing. So there you go. Don't hold back on innovation due to fear or anxiety. We never get forward sort of momentum if we don't take a risk, if we don't take that leap of faith. Who's leading? Who's going to be the one that is showing either like the leadership in the situation, or if we think of a dance, it's hard to have two leaders or two followers. If you have two followers, no one's going anywhere. If you have two leaders, you're walking on each other's feet. So you have to figure out division of labor. You have to sometimes be bold and be the one that just says, why don't I try this? Or, hey, could you take on this responsibility? I think you're perfect for it. So either speaking up or suggesting something so that we can get that motion and that energy in the right direction. Practice is important, whether it's your spiritual path, whether it's education, whether it's something that you enjoy, a hobby. Practice makes perfect. Very rarely is there someone who is just phenomenal out of the gate. That's sometimes only happening if there's past life, knowledge that you're bringing into this life. But we have to start somewhere, so you might be starting fresh in this lifetime. Don't give up. Keep pushing. You'll be surprised at what you can accomplish. And finally, and most obviously and importantly, this is all about jumping, and the energy of the Fool would be a part of this totem if I had to pick a single card, because it is about new beginnings, fresh start. The number 0, because that's what's on that particular card. It's also about the Sun card, which is playful, sort of childlike as well. Both of these are the children cards in tarot. There's also the 6 of Cups, but there's boldness in the Fool and there's boldness in the Sun card that isn't really in the 6 of Cups. So these sort of childlike, wonderment is what I'm really picking up on. It's what you really want to focus on. Take a calculated leap of faith. That's the importance of the Fool card. You don't want to leap without looking or leap without thinking, but once you've thought about it, do take that leap of faith. And it's a time for new beginnings. Something that I talked to yesterday's sign about Cancer was that we're going to have 2 new moons in the next month. Depending on your geographical location, I think if you're in either the Mountain or Pacific Zone or West, then you should have 2. If not, if you're basically on the East Coast of the US, or if you're in Europe or beyond, it's going to be 1 on the very first week of March and then the first day of April. So both months are going to be started off with a new moon, which is really great energy. You may luck out and have 2 next month, depending on where you're located, but that means that it's a perfect time to start something brand new. And you're going to be able to actually, I would be thinking of your next step in the journey. So don't just focus on right now, focus on what's next. That's going to help you be so much more effective at being able to make something happen. Okay? All right. So I made a little noise there. Let's get into the next portion of this, which is going to be the Celtic Cross here. So 1 second here, because I made everything go away when I did that. Celtic Cross today. I'm using a new deck, and so before you ask Maria any questions about what it is, I'll be using the Star Seeker deck. I don't yet have this on my website, but I'll put it there in a little bit, probably after this reading. And the Star Seeker deck is one that you all recommended to me, and I'm glad you did. Beautiful even cover on this too. It's an indie one that I bought from someone on Etsy. Actually, I forget the name of the second one that I got, but I'm trying to support some independent artists. So here we go. All right, so I'm going to turn the table down here, or turn the camera down on the table rather, so you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to take a look at what's coming through for the next 6 to 8 weeks. As I said earlier, you can use this for your sun sign, your rising, and your moon. And there we go with that spider web. Always love it when there's a synchronicity here. And that was the Wheel of Fortune that I was talking about earlier. So love it when we see synchronicities pop up, that jumping spider's jumping somewhere out there. Happy that I talked about it today. So thanks again. If you want to suggest a deck to me, you can go to the community page and scroll a few down, and you'll see that I did a post asking for some suggestions. And if you can't find it, you can also put it in the comments of any of my videos, and I do read all the comments, by the way. Do it when it's on replay, though, so I can find it. So sometimes it's harder for me to parse what's been written in the comments in the video. I usually look when it's on replay, but I can actually view everything that's below the video. Commenting also helps with engagement, and engagement helps with discovery, which means more people will find the video. So always, if you like something, actually physically click that like button and leave a comment, because it helps. But yeah, I'm always trying to find new decks, and this one is nice. It reminds me of kind of like Fountain Tarot meets 2 or 3 other ones, but it kind of has a flat illustration style, but a little bit more depth than the Fountain one has. So Field Tarot also looks pretty similar to this, but I like what we see here. All right, let's get started. You've got 2 Catalyst cards. The Catalyst is a way for you to connect to possibilities in your life. Let's focus on the first one. And lo and behold, a lot of synchronicities that little jumping spider brought in today. We have the comic, which is what? The Fool, or a gesture, and an old sort of, a jester rather, in the traditional sort of playing cards. So we have the comic here, which is reminding you of the importance of having a sense of humor, and also of trying to have a sort of playful approach at things. So sometimes we tend to get way too serious, or way too in the sort of depths of all the details, and it's good to have a laugh. And some of my favorite jobs that I've held back when I used to work in corporations or traditional jobs, 9-to-5 jobs, it was when there was an environment of playfulness, energy around you where you could just laugh. One of my first jobs when I was in high school, actually, I was a waiter. And it was so fun to just sort of like work with a team of people same age. And we just had a good time. Even if customers were not really polite or didn't tip or whatever, it was sort of like we still had a good time. And it didn't matter that we were working, a hard job, not getting paid a lot. It was just fun, and we had each other's backs. So that playful, fun, joyful energy can actually make work seem a lot more manageable, and it can help you get through a task. So smile and have fun, and make room for something that makes you laugh. There's a few different ways that we can process energy. It can be through tears, it can be through laughter, it can be through screaming or talking or art, exercise as we kind of sweat things out. That works too. So laughter is one of the more fun ways to do it. So if you have a sense of humor, and if you like to laugh, make some time. You not only have permission, but encouragement to do that. It will surprisingly open up some new doors. Also, when you smile, it makes you more, not like just beautiful or attractive, but like energetically attractive. Dolly Parton has a line, I think it was in Still Magnolias, where she says, smile, it increases your face value, I think. And she's right, it does. But it also increases your energetic attraction as well. That just sounds wordier, so I like the way she says it. All right, so we have the tear card here. We see this kind of like cosmic eye or third eye. Some of you may be trying to work, this is kind of like the dramatic masks, laughter and tears, right? Because we've got them both here, just very differently illustrated. So you could either laugh or cry about it. There may be something going on where if you can have a little bit of a sense of humor, it's going to make it easier. You may also find that you're mixing laughter and tears. A lot of times when we're really, really happy, like you feel like something could never happen, but suddenly it does. I'm sure you've had that feeling where you start to cry and you start to kind of just get weepy because it's this feeling of, I can't believe it. So believe it. If that is happening, it's okay. If you've ever been to a funeral and there's a memory that someone shares of a loved one and you laugh because it reminds you of a better time, then you cry a little bit, then you laugh and cry. Like these two things can get mixed. So what are we getting at? You're emotional this month. and there might be different peaks and valleys. So just move through them. And it's okay if they come up at unexpected times. If you laugh when you're supposed to be serious, if you cry when you're supposed to laugh, and if you laugh and cry at the same time, all right? You're just getting some permission from the universe to process, all right? That's the most important thing. Let's get to your center card here. We have my favorite court card, the Queen of Wands. Let's take a look at her up close. So why do I like the Queen of Wands? Because quite simply, she's magical, and she can do practically anything that she puts her mind to. Think of her like the Mary Poppins of the court cards. So the thing with the Queen of Wands in reverse is she's encouraging you to basically pay attention to your own personal affairs. And as I said earlier, make sure that you've cleaned everything up, that everything is just copacetic in the way that you want it. She's also reminding you that you can't control or organize everyone and everything around you, okay? So it's okay for you to watch something fall apart on the periphery, because when you sometimes try to enter into a situation where the person doesn't want your help, have you ever experienced it where they bristle and then they yell at you? And it's sort of like, I was just trying to help. If they don't want your help, let them experience it on their own. And you only have to be told once. Sometimes people don't realize that, but this Queen of Wands is going to learn from that once. So maybe some of you have been trying to fix something and someone doesn't want it, or they get territorial. You say, no problem. You take care of that. And as you see things falling apart with your extra set of eyes in the back of your head, you're going to just cover your bases and make sure everything's organized. They're kind of creating their own story and their own ending, and you may know that ending and you don't have to go where that's going, okay? So focus instead on creating some magic in your life. What is it that you can control? Who is it in your life that really enjoys your time? And that's the sort of energetic investment that's going to be worthy of you. So if someone says, I don't want your help, if someone complains about something that you did, so be it. You've got a lot of other energy that you can put into something that will possibly bring you into a happier space, okay? So again, their loss, your gain. I say that because right on top of this, we have the Seven of Wands, which means that you have the ability right now to really juggle a lot of things at once. The question with the Seven of Wands is, can you work more effectively? Can you work smarter? I think you can. I think that the hardest thing with the Seven of Wands is simply saying no, and also not letting someone push you into something that you don't want to be pushed into. The Seven of Wands is a powerful card, but it can show that energy of being pushed, of being overwhelmed. So take a step back, because I like to remind people, not every suit you can do this with, but you can with wands. If you subtract in wands, you can get success. So if you go below the Seven of Wands, it'll be Six of Wands, which literally is success. So by saying, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to focus on just these things instead. Taking one thing off your plate, you go to the Six of Wands. Otherwise, you could bring someone in to help and get into the Eight of Wands, because unlike Seven of Wands, which is independent, Eight of Wands is basically a lot of people. It's a community card. So you're either going to step back or you're going to engage with more, but you're not going to focus on that one thing that's kind of like a sliver in your thumb, okay? And that's the main sort of message as we look at the first two cards. They work in tandem with one another. Minding your own energy and business, creating magic in your life, stepping away from people that are making it clear that they don't not want or need your energy, focusing instead on pushing forward in areas where you feel drawn, where you feel progress, and either stepping back a little bit or bringing one other person in so that there's more sort of momentum. You don't have to be the fire that's pushing everything forward, okay? We have a beautiful card in the deep past. I love this deck, but I do have to put my glasses on for some of the cards because the font is hard to read. This is the Queen of Cups. I love the cosmic energy around her hair and her crown chakra. So with the Queen of Cups, if you feel it, if you believe it, you can do this for sure. And she almost looks like a mermaid. She is a mermaid, I think, to me. So the most important thing with this particular card is feeling it in the heart, receiving some sort of a blessing, and then doing something amazing with it. Queen of Cups is ostensibly, I would just say arguably the best sort of satellite energy because she represents the penultimate, the second to biggest card in that, but she is receptive and also she can give and take. Where the king can kind of just receive, the queen can give and take. I kind of prefer queen energy when I'm looking at court cards because they manifest better. Because they're channels, they're vessels, right? So I would say for you, your creative side, your emotional side, it's attracting people. And the question here is, are you ready to receive what they want to bring your way? You can be discerning, you can say no, you can push back. But it does look like there's some great options coming through for you. You got a lot of divine feminine actually, because when we take a look at recent past, we also have the Empress here. It's interesting that two of your divine feminine were reversed and one was upright. So when it comes to how you're thinking and managing, and when it comes to what you're holding on to, that's where the power is kind of like plugged up a little bit. But where it's in the right position is, I think you can feel your way through a situation on a gut level, on a soul level. You absolutely know what you should be doing. So a very similar message comes through when we look at Empress energy. Almost invariably, you're going to see her as a pregnant woman, which shows that there's something in your life that's ready to come to fruition. It doesn't always mean that you can be a man and get this card and it means that there's something that you're ready to step into or let go of or receive. You're very close. Now, with this, you could be holding on to something that is preventing that rebirth or that stepping into something new. So the sooner you can kind of be open or release, the sooner things start to get really exciting for you. So if there's something and you're thinking to yourself, is this as good as it gets? The Empress is coming through and saying, no, buckle your seatbelts, you're just getting started. There's something really exciting on the horizon for you, okay? Some of you are overdue for recognition or growth, and if that's the case, we'll fast forward to the beautiful Wheel of Fortune here. You may be stuck in someone else's web and not be able to kind of create your own. So I feel like some of you are getting that sort of itch to do something entrepreneurial or leadership oriented. The cards are already showing that it's in your capacity. It's really just a question of why maybe you're holding on to what you're holding on to and when you might be ready or willing to sort of like step into the higher calling, okay? Let's take a look at the crowning card here. We have the Nine of Swords here. And I always love it when bears show up. I have another deck that has bears too, the Wildwood deck. This particular bear is keeping someone, it's kind of like a bullying sort of energy. So if there's someone in your life that is grumpy or a little bit dismissive, or whenever you try to make a change, they just sort of like, they're not receptive. This is you needing to sort of like step back from that and say, I need my space. And don't let someone else's lack of vision or their grumpiness, because that's kind of what I'm getting with this, or overprotective energy, because we connect these two cards quite nicely. This is a mama bear that is like, I'm afraid. What if you do this and you don't succeed? What if you do this and you don't make money? What if people don't, et cetera, whenever you want to do this. So you have to step away from the mama bear energy It could be your dad, it could be a friend, it could be your inner conscience kind of stepping through and just trying to protect you and cocoon you. But ultimately, it's also keeping you in the web. You need to spin the web. You don't need to be in the web. And that's your ultimate sort of calling this month, is to spin your own path, your own story, your own journey. Okay? So Nine of Swords, what is it? It's fear, ultimately. Usually we see this at nighttime, but this is a much different interpretation, and it's protection. So your protective elements, or whether it's you or your family or someone else, is basically holding you back. The web card here is your future, and it's the Wheel of Fortune, but it's also holding you back. Every morning, a spider goes through its web and it cuts out the things it doesn't need. So where there was prey that kind of like ruins the web, it'll go back and fix it. If the whole thing is kind of a mess because of a storm, it just clips it and it starts again and it spins a new one. So each day is like that. In this particular deck, the wheel is almost like a fool because it's a reset on a daily basis. So each day I want you to reset your expectations and think, today I might capture what I'm looking for. I'm one step further. I have to keep spinning the sort of threads of my destiny in order to make that happen. Okay, so don't be afraid. The bear wants to help you, but it's also kind of holding you back. So you're going to step back away from that. Because what's waiting for you? You have great cards here, by the way. We're looking at a lot of pentacles here with the 10 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles in the wheel. We have a little bit of fear here, but we'll talk more about that in a second. All right, let's look at the 10 of Pentacles. And let me pull it up close so you can see it. The card's reversed, but it's really positive. Here we actually see friends, family, all that sort of great energy that would be a part of the 10 of Pentacles, success, and I think we see a little baby there. So that whatever it is that you're trying to give birth to, whether it's a new version of yourself or a project or a child, we see this sort of happy future here. But with it in reverse, there could be pressure, peer pressure, family pressuring you, or even societal pressure that is making you try to adhere to a mold that doesn't seem like it fits. It's kind of like trying on a shirt that doesn't fit, or some pants that are too small or too big. You have to, again, weave and create your own path. So sometimes this is not just like a parent, but it can be bigger, like family or community. And they're stepping in and they're saying, we want you to do this, or this is where you're going to get the most success, or you're doing so well. Why would you want to do anything else besides this? And in your heart and your soul, it's because you've kind of like checked off everything on that list, right? So just like someone mentioned in the comments, if we reconnect to the jumping spider, it has that energy of being able to overcome and get past something. I'm so happy that it made an appearance in the cards here. There are synchronicities when I work with Spirit Totem, so we definitely see it here. And it's so important because this is your outcome card, and it's money and it's destiny. So you can move past the simple and obvious. Sometimes what's simple and obvious may not work for you. If there's something that you see beyond that, trust that. You know, you can judge your own fate best. But sometimes this is just what family sees as obvious, not what your heart and your soul sees. So for family, this can be when mom, dad, sister, aunt, uncle want you to be like a doctor, a lawyer, to take over the family business, whatever it is, just because they know that it's guaranteed. But you're the spider and you're going to leap to something different. And it's just as authentic for you. Okay? All right. So by the way, it's great to have something like this in the near future and this in the future, because this is money in abundance and this is the higher version of that. But you may need to break away from family and fear in order to get to that higher energy. All right, let's go into how you're showing up here. So we have Four of Cups, one of the first cards that's showing some limits here. So let's talk about it. Four of Cups is missing something obvious. So she's focusing on what is lost, or what maybe either other people are doing, but she's missing the opportunity that Spirit's presenting. We call everything into our life to understand something better. It's all a big lesson plan. So this is basically encouraging you to take a look and think, what am I learning? What have I learned through this experience, whether it was good or bad? So if you get into a fight with someone, if you get laid off from work, if you don't get accepted into something that you wanted to get accepted into, whether it's college or some other thing, what's happening is the universe is gently redirecting, and it's asking you to kind of say, like, look at what's over here. That's one, but this is another path. And so allow for your gaze, your third eye, to look into a different direction. And there's a hidden ace in the Four of Cups. In the Five of Cups, there's a hidden Two of Cups. Basically, there's love. So in this one, there's opportunity knocking, but you can't hear it if you're not awake and aware, okay? It also reminds you that you may be absolutely in the perfect place that you're supposed to be, but when you compare yourself to someone else, you get frustrated. Maybe they've bought a house before you. Maybe they got married before you. Maybe they have more success. People think more of them, whatever. We don't know, first of all, what's going on in their own mind and body. We also don't know how much they might have worked in previous lifetimes to accomplish this. So it may seem easy, but maybe they live 10 lifetimes paying all the karmic debts to get what they get. So you just focus on yourself. When we go back into the center, that's basically what we see with the Queen of Wands here. She's magic, she can manifest, and she can help you past this lack of vision or this lack of patience. Let's move on to yet another queen. It's almost exclusively divine feminine energy, no kings. Kind of cool that we got another queen. I shuffled the deck a lot, so definitely Spirit wanted to bring through divine feminine energy. So we have the Queen of Pentacles here, and I love that we see the rabbit. This is what I was talking about. I was using the Wildwood deck the other day, and I think Wands had the rabbit. I'm like, they're using the wrong symbol. I like everything about that deck except this, because usually you see the rabbit on this. So what does the rabbit mean? That you're going to see rapid changes when it comes to availability of resources. You're going to see rapid changes internally. You're going to see things starting to shift out of almost like all of a sudden. We see all those beautiful butterflies, and it feels like she's a little overwhelmed by the speed and the progress. So try to stay kind of like in the flow and be at peace with what's coming through. The positioning of this card is in the environment. So you might just be looking at, again, comparing yourself. This is the comparison card, and this is the environment. So some of you are comparing yourself to others and thinking, oh my gosh, look at all this other stuff. But meanwhile, you have all the tools, especially with her, you have the tools to create the exact same thing or something better. Remember, we're not in the doppelganger energy this month. We're instead in the originality energy of being able to just kind of create something fresh and new. This is also really connected to the spring. For those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, that's around the corner next few months here. So keep an open mind and open heart. It might take until April or May for some of these sort of changes to fully manifest, but they will. It's almost impossible with Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, and the Empress to not see something develop, okay? Some of you just have a lot of energy around you, a lot of leaders. So there may be, if you're working in a company, there may be a lot of chiefs, but not a lot of people that are actually doing the work. So there may be sort of like a top-heavy organization. There could also be in family or in sort of friend groups, there's just a lot of big personalities. And you may wonder, like, how do I fit in? Well, like attracts like. So if I'm seeing nothing but divine feminine queen energy, then you too are in that same sort of regal energy. You just have to believe it and own it. Okay, I know, easier said than done, but definitely if you're job seeking here, the Queen of Pentacles portends good things. One thing that she's lacking, if we look at this particular card, is it feels like she's just overwhelmed, so she's not paying attention to the details. She's not paying attention to the abundance around her. Things might be moving and she's not moving in the same pace as that. So you want to give yourself a little bit of love and find a way to not get overwhelmed. I think that's the key thing here. All right, let's take a look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. Again, there's only 2 limiting cards for the most part this month, but we have the Five of Pentacles here. And it's very common in different modern interpretations to see the Five of Pentacles with the tree on it. A lot of times you'll see the tree like half in bloom, half not in bloom, or you'll see that it's a winter scene. So with this one, the person's seeking shelter, and it feels like what they're wanting is just out of reach. It's at the top of the tree. But there's usually always, it looks like there's a little opening here in the tree where there could be shelter. Typically in a Five of Pentacles, you would see what would look like a church or some sort of a sanctuary in the background. And there's 1 or 2 people in the foreground, usually 2, usually a parent and a child, and they're not facing each other. So there's help if they turn around, and there's help also behind them. So there could be a stubbornness within your person or again around you where that helping hand is not being received. So I think what you have to kind of look into is, what am I afraid of if someone's offering you an opportunity? And also, and if someone's not going to receive your help, again, let them come to you. Focus on something else. Now, there's some different energies around this to talk about when it comes to money. I'm not really worried about resources for you this month because you have this very great manifesting energy smack dab in the middle of this. And then when we look at all of your actual money cards here, future, near future, and outcome, I see 10 of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. So you're headed in the right direction. The only thing here in hopes and fears that's limiting you a little bit is the fear of, am I enough? It can be imposter syndrome, like, am I faking this? What will they do when they find out that I'm not good enough? It could be a little bit of a soul scar from the past where someone in your life told you that you just don't deserve what's coming to you. And so you need to do a little bit of internal healing and basically kind of fake it till you make it, because everything here that I see is saying power, potential, and really great things on the horizon, okay? So a little bit of internal work for some of you. As we're talking, I actually feel in the solar plexus a little stab, and this happens again when it's parental. It can be a father that does this too. It doesn't have to just be maternal, but it hits me in the solar plexus, which is right where that umbilical cord connected us to our moms. So for some of you, there's just a little bit of fear that's passed on either through parents, grandparents, or ancestors, so that you could basically do an ancestral and a familial release and just say, I am not my mother, I'm not my father, I'm not my grandparents, I'm not my ancestors, I'm more. I'm all of that and more, and I'm ready now to step into my own path. And you can use that exact mantra if you'd like to. Basically, I was just talking actually to my mom the other day about that, saying none of us we don't have the flaws of our parents because we learned from that. We may take a little bit of the good and the bad, but we're our own person. So we can never really solely blame it on one person in our life. We always have a decision like, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do about that? Can I break the chain? And you can break the chain. All right. And there's so much to look forward to when we look at your outcome card. We have the synchronicity here with the Wheel of Fortune, the lovely little spider here. I love that it's weaving a cosmic web. And when I look really closely, to me, it almost looks like it's got like a little egg sac there. So this is also a divine feminine energy as well. So basically everything is magical as we're looking at the month ahead. And you also have the 2 new moons on either end of the month. So I feel like if you've been stuck, if you've felt this sense of just kind of like stagnation or malaise, this is the month to change the internal channel and say, I weave the threads of my own destiny. I make the choices. I can cut the threads. I can create the threads. So I want you to spin a new tale, spin a new vision, and be the cosmic spider, right? You can make this happen. You can change the outcome, all right? And the other thing with this is you can capture, you can pull in whatever it is that you're truly trying to see come into fruition. Beautiful energy. I really love the deck too, and it really connected to what we were talking about in our channeled messages. So let's move along to the expanded forecast next to get some additional insights. The expanded forecast includes health, wealth, love, and destiny, and each one of these is multi-part. The health card that we'll be looking at first is going to be mind, body, and spirit. All right, so as we look at your health card, wow, we have a beautiful sort of, it reminds me of like almost like an eagle here, or a falcon rather. But we also see like the duality, who I was and who I'm becoming. So let's look at this a little closer. Some of you are somewhere in between. You can see it, your third eye, your higher self. And for those of you that might have a bird spirit, when I look at it from back here, it really reminds me of something like a falcon. You have that sort of bird's eye view of what's possible. But there's someone or something anchoring you down. It really is the same sort of energy that's in the 5 of Pentacles. And you're not going to let this anchor you down. You're going to focus instead on becoming what you know you always could become, seeing the possibilities. And for some of you, you may need to talk out some of the trauma or drama from the past. For the rest of you, it's a reminder that birds don't learn to fly immediately. They have to grow their wings. They have to be kind of nurtured a bit. So your wings are getting ready to fly, but it's going to take time. So don't rush yourself. Give yourself time to really believe and then see where you're going next as well, okay? Let's take a specific look at all of the cards here for health messages. Before I do that, just a standard disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, I'm a reader, and I'll be looking at energetic opportunities. So if anything's wrong in your body, you should talk to a professional about that. But with the disclaimer aside, let's take a look at energy opportunities for you and what the cards are suggesting when it comes to your well-being. So first of all, a lot of you are just really in your headspace a lot. The Queen of Wands thinks about everything. So even if you're normally someone who can let things go, it may be a little bit more difficult. And there's a lot of control cards this month. Queen, 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 queen. So we have all of these sort of energies of trying to either be told what to do or tell someone what to do. And for some of you, you're trying to control every aspect. So the important thing for you is to just take a step back and work smarter and to let go a little bit of some of this stuff. Because I feel like all of that control energy inhibits the ability to fly and to explore. So definitely there are some control issues that might be either in the environment or internally that you're working with. With the Empress in reverse, this can also be you holding on to something energetically in your body or emotionally, and then in your body there's also this sort of energetic component. So the sooner you can let go of the emotional thing, the sooner your body can recover, or the sooner you're going to feel better. So there's a definite reason that some of you might need to just take a break from something, and you might need to walk away from something, or you might need to let something go. Once you do that, it gets easier. You feel better. You're not feeling this sort of like weight. So some of you are holding on to something, and the emotional part is creating a physical manifestation. I felt it in my stomach. Some of you might be having it in your head. So it could be migraines, it could be stomach aches, it could be IBS, it could be any number of things. So whatever it is, it's manifesting. Of course, there's a physical piece, and that's why you should work with your doctor, but there's an emotional and a spiritual piece. So also clean up those aspects of your life so that you can be happy on mind, body, and spirit. Let's see here. If you're some of you might be trying to start a family or start a business, because these two energies are very similar, the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles. And I see the frustration. When it's business oriented or anything else in your life, it comes when it's ready. For those of you that are holding on too much to having to have something come through in a certain way, these two cards are saying when you let go, it happens. So a lot of times with pregnancy, emotional stress can inhibit conception. When it comes to business, if you want something too much and you try to get an investor or you try to sell the product, it comes across to the other person, you're like, it's not right. It's sort of like that person needs it or wants it too much. I'm going to step back a little bit. So letting go is going to be important in the manifestation. There's a lot of emotional and energetic things. That's almost entirely what I'm picking up on. There's not a lot of things going wrong with the body that I'm picking up on here. The only thing that I see here is fear, sleep. You might not be sleeping very well. Also, when it comes to lower extremities, knees, ankles, joints, there could be some pain. There's also a general note to watch where you're going. And then just when it's emotional stuff, healing the scars of the past there. But overall, I'm actually quite happy with what I'm seeing here. A lot of it is perspective. So not bad at all when we're looking at the health component. I'm actually already very, I would say, happy about what I'm seeing with the wealth cards, because they seem auspicious to me. When we look at all of your different wealth cards, like I said, we have a great management card here in the center with the Queen of Wands. We have a great money card here, a great money card here, and a great money card here. So the only thing that's limiting you a little bit right now is your ability to sort of say, I need or I want more. There could be fear that when you ask, you'll be denied. Not if you're the Queen of Wands. If you really sort of stand up for yourself and push for what's important, I see you getting it. There could also just be an encouragement here to not be afraid to wait, because what we see here is maybe something better. So if you don't get a house that you put a bid on, maybe there's a better match for you down the road, or maybe that house, there was some hidden things that would cost more money. If you don't get the raise or promotion that you want, you might see another opportunity and you won't be tied into a contract. The universe definitely has your back with future prospects here. And like I said, give it a few months to fully manifest. But I do think that you're going to be surprised at how great the next few months look for you. And yes, so the squeaky wheel gets the oil here. But this particular wheel is like, I'm also going to pull in and attract and create what I want. I don't have to just wait for someone. If it's not going to happen here, I'll find where it's going to happen. Okay? Pretty darn good across the board, I have to say. And for those of you looking to launch or create something new, couldn't ask for better cards than the Ten of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay? Just make sure that you're really not cutting yourself too thin when it comes to investments and engagements, because although we have great resource cards here and there's great potential, Five of Pentacles it's breaking even, and I want to see Six of Pentacles when you're starting something new. So make sure you say no, make sure you ask for help. Try not to deny help if it's legitimate and it's going to really give you what you need. Okay? So there you go. By the way, I didn't even talk about, we jumped straight into all of the other cards here, and I forgot to actually read the wealth card here, which is change. It says, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So a lot of times these two cards can be read as the same. Like it'll be the Wheel of Fortune, but the Wheel of Fortune is also like the Wheel of Year, or it's the change here. So we see a wheel at the center of this change card, and then we see the basically the web is just a big cosmic wheel here as well. Okay? So change can be scary, but in this case, it's absolutely necessary. So give yourself a chance to try something new. I like to equate this sometimes to diet, and not like having a diet, but like I recently saw a family member who's really young, but all they like is like 3 items on a menu, and they find the same 3 items everywhere that they go. But that's normal when you have kids that are, in single digits or just barely in double digits. They usually like things like chicken nuggets and pasta and stuff like that. But I do think it's incumbent upon parents and relatives to show them that there are other. It's like kind of like a palette of colors. There's other colors out there in the culinary world. So even though pasta is great, maybe you want to try something like this. Like they need to explore and expand the palette. So for you, it's kind of like the same thing. If you only eat vanilla, how will you know how great chocolate or Rocky Road or pecan or whatever other sort of ice cream flavors taste like? You have to try. Some are good, some are a pass. Each person has their own taste. But when you keep trying, you start to realize there are more hits than misses. So give it a go. See where it takes you. And I really think that that's the energy that we see here with the change card. Okay. So let's move along to love and relationships. We got the cute little mouse here, and it says, tend to the small things. All right. So when it comes to relationships this month, your partner, your friends, the people that you care about the most, they're paying attention to your actions. And if you listen to them, they might be dropping hints left and right for something. Again, with the hints, if it's you, I'm going to encourage you not to drop the hint, to just say what you want. It's more powerful. Don't expect it. Let's put it this way. You could put a hint out there and see how intuitive and how perceptive someone is. But if you truly need or want something, state the intention. It's a lot cleaner and it's a lot easier. And also you can give feedback to someone saying, I like it when you do this, this, or this. Please keep it up. Keep up the good work in that area. I don't like it when you do this, but I really like what you're doing here, and this makes me happy. People like to hear that. Focus on what they're doing right and remind them of something they did before that was right and say, could you do that again? Because that was amazing. Because that gives them a focus point of success and repeated success. So build people up and help them with the little things. Maybe they just don't know how to put it together. Some people are not as perceptive. Don't punish them for that. They're not always going to be able to get there. We all have different levels of being able to be empathic or be attuned to things, all right? Let's take a look at this in 3 different perspectives. The first will be those of you that want to focus on a core relationship. It doesn't have to just be love. It can also be a core friendship or family member in your life. Then we'll look at those looking for love and those that are single and happy. So core relationships first. While there are a lot of opinions floating around about you and what you're doing, I feel like you know who you are. Again, I love this Queen of Cups. She's just gorgeous. But but it feels like there's a couple of other people pulling you. There's one definitely in the environment. There's another person in the recent past, and it just feels like you're being tugged in a lot of directions. The Queen of Wands, however, is the boss. She, like I said, she's the penultimate card for that. She's the second to strongest energy. But again, in some ways, she's more powerful than even the King of Wands. So stand your ground, and you can hold space. You can hold court with all these other Queen cards. Push back as needed in a relationship that's important. Push for what matters. And don't be pushed into something that you don't want to do. Some of you are definitely ready to start a family, like the Queen of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. These are like the markers for family. And this is a marker for pregnancy, especially with this. So if you're trying to start a family, it looks like you're going to be successful. And all I would kind of encourage you is to look at all the different ways, whether it's not always about giving birth. It could also be about adopting. There's a lot of different ways, but I see the universe has opened up at least one path for that. For everyone else where you're trying to birth something, there might be a partner that's really keen on focusing on business, because these three cards can be business. So you're going to be trying to help them balance things out a little bit with that, okay? It feels like there are some fears and there are some wounds from the past when it comes to self-confidence. So the biggest challenge in existing relationships is saying what you need to say without being afraid, not letting the other partner hold you back because of their fears, and then being open to sort of seeing someone and loving them for all their flaws, because this is someone who needs to do a little bit of healing. If it's you, do the healing as well. Ultimately, don't get caught up in other people's webs. That's the most important takeaway. But I don't see an energy of splitting or anything like that. It just feels like there's a lot of personalities, there's a lot of pressure, and there's some internal stuff that you or your partner need to work on. Remembering, as we look at the comic and the tear here, sometimes you can laugh your way through it, sometimes you can cry your way through it. You might be doing a little bit of both. That just shows that there's a lot of passion. Looking at those of you that are seeking love, well, I feel like the big question from the cards and from your guides is, do you have the time? Because this card shows me that it's going to be hard to return or reciprocate that energetic investment because there's so much going on when it comes to personal growth and career. So you're going to have to push back and say no. Some of you are afraid of taking that first step or leading the dance. Don't be. We see success as the outcome. So if you're trying to attract someone or if you're trying to make something happen, we see good things here in the horizon here with the Ten of Pentacles, but there's a lot of priorities and there's a lot of opinions that are affecting what do you want. And that's really what this card is asking too. Are you even seeing what's available and what's around you? If you're single, happy, and sort of not really focusing on relationships, good for you, because I see success, and more success. I see great leadership, and I see people challenging your leadership. And as I read, I keep getting this constant pain in my solar plexus, and there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. It's just when I'm hitting on something when it comes to power. And there must be some really strong, either women or strong leaders in your life, or both, that are kind of hitting you in that solar plexus. So you have the same power. You are an equal. I see it in the cards. Own that leadership, own that divine feminine energy, and do something amazing with it, okay? There you go. Let's go ahead now and take a look at your destiny card. So we have the silence here. And I feel like some of you are breaking silence. Making or breaking silence. The card is reversed, but some of you might just decide it's not worth it, so you're going to walk away. Some of you might decide to be walking away from someone who's giving you the silent treatment. Sometimes it's better not to say something. But I will say this, coming from a family where, thankfully, we were always able to talk it out, at least one side of my family that I'm part Italian. So the Italian side likes to just sort of like get it all out there and put it on the table. There's something to be said with being honest and very transparent. And if you need to kind of like fight, but in a very constructive way, if I fight with like my mom, for instance, it doesn't linger. It'll be like 2 minutes and then we're over it. It's more of a constructive disagreement. It's sort of like, no, I'm passionate about this, or I'll hear you out, but then we need to talk this through. We try to get to the bottom of it. So I feel like for some of you, if you can break the silence, it'll be better. Recently had an experience where everyone wanted to pretend like something didn't happen. And if you've ever experienced this at work, in a friend circle or in a family, the silence just creates more problem. And I used an analogy when I was talking to someone recently about, imagine that you had sheets of a bed that were dirty, and instead of cleaning the sheets, you just put on a new comforter. You still have all the filth underneath that new comforter. It's gonna still smell. Nothing's going to be okay. It would be like if a baby went to the bathroom all over its crib and you didn't clean everything up. You have to clean up the mess. So the silence could be killing. It could be creating some of the pain that I'm feeling in my solar plexus. So if you're being quiet because you're afraid that you're going to lose someone, you might already have lost that energy or that connection. Just say what you need to say. Get it out there, and the sooner the better, because that will help clean it up. You don't have to do it in a way that's cruel. You can say, the silence is hurting me. When we don't talk about it, it makes it worse. Pretending doesn't fix it. It's not cleaning the sheets, basically. And this is a month where you've got to take the comforter off and clean the sheets. Get to the real information. And that's why we see her holding a skull here. Silence is deadly, right? For some of you, you may just choose to walk away, and that's okay. But I think you either talk about it or you walk away and it's already done. Talking it through, breaking the silence, is going to be the healing element, okay? All right. Sorry, that's the metaphor that came to me, and I'll use what my guides present because it makes sense. It helps people understand that pretending doesn't solve it. And that's why it hurts sometimes when people just tell you to just move on. Why do you have to keep focusing on that? Find a way that you need to kind of get through that soul scar so that you're okay. Nobody gets to tell you to just to get over it. But I would say do what's necessary to feel happy, because you deserve that. And that's what the Queen of Cups is saying. You've got a lot to be happy for. There's a lot of reasons in your life to celebrate and to receive good things. And just only allow that higher frequency energy in from here on out. Do me a favor. I think that'll make you happier. So we just got through the expanded forecast. We just looked at health, wealth, love, and destiny. What we're going to look at next is just a quick view of where we're at. We're going to go to the big idea card. The big idea is going to be something that helps us understand what's this all about. Maybe even a nice connection of how to break the silence. What's this all going to help you with, all right? So let's see here. Yay, we like this. All right, we have the Four of Wands card here for the big idea. And the big idea is saying, hold that space for something higher. Higher love, higher connections. Basically, it's like the field of dreams, where if you construct something, if you build it, you're eventually saying to the universe, I'm ready now to receive. So these two cards, your deep past and your big idea cards, they are absolutely, it's like a lesson learned. I am deserving of this. I'm worthy. I'm more than enough. And I'm ready to receive love and abundance in the highest forms. The universe says, great, here it is. It could be a new friend. It could be a new business engagement. It could just be you finally seeing what you have and just through sheer attractive energy, pulling in a lot of better connections in your life. Four of Wands can be marriage, it can be friendship, and it can just be firm foundations. So this month is setting you up to have a stronger foundation. And it's reminding you to rise above and to reach higher. We can see that couple kind of in the higher realms there, okay? So yeah, I agree. This is a beautiful deck. Just in case you ask again, it's called Star Seeker. I'll put a link on my website. I won't get any kickback on this because it's an Etsy artist and I'm cool with that. I love independent artists. So this came through one of your suggestions. Keep them coming. I have a thread on the community page. So, all right. I really liked that I just love the illustration style in this one. Let's put it that way. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take a look at blessings and blocks. So what's something that you can embrace? What's something that you can transmute or step back from? Start first with the blessing card. And we have the Page of Pentacles. And then we'll take a look at the block card. And we have the Two of Pentacles. All right. A lot coming through this month with resources. All right, so we'll start with the Page of Pentacles as your blessing this month. What's cool about this particular page is it feels like you're starting to put things together. It's kind of like a puzzle. All the little pieces, all the tapestry is finally coming together in a big cosmic pattern where you now know who to talk to, how to do this, how to basically make something happen. And I'm excited about that for you. I don't really look at reversed court cards in a bad way when I'm looking at you. What I see is that it's about internal investment or working on oneself. So some of you this month are being tapped by the universe to say, ask for what you want. Put yourself out there. Throw your hat in the ring for consideration, because pages usually are good at receiving and communicating. So you'll get at least some of what you asked for. You may get all or more. So be crystal clear. We see a pyramid here in the background, or an obelisk rather, and it reminds me of one that I have, and I'm going to show it to you. All right, so this, my friends, is pure citrine. It should show up really nice on my new camera here. So you'll notice with citrine that it's actually not yellow or orange. This is sort of got a greenish tint to it. So this is also known as the merchant stone. It helps you with respect to your career, your finances, as well as it can help you with the heart as well. There's a lot of different things, and it can help you with the solar plexus energy that we're talking about. Fun little fact, this is not citrine. This is treated quartz. It was heated up to look like citrine. This is citrine. It looks a lot different. So if you just be careful when you're buying. This is still a good crystal, but it's quartz. It's heated quartz. So citrine could be a good energy to help you through with your financial opportunities this month. So maybe you could find a smaller example of this, and you could wear it if you want to as a necklace or on your hand or whatever. You can meditate with this as well to remove blocks, to open things up. Really good crystal for finances. And I have this exact sort of obelisk shape that I saw here on the card. So I keep this near my work here to kind of help me channel the best energy and stay focused when it comes to career. It's a good card. So anyway, it's a good crystal as well. So focus on doing something for yourself, crystallize and clarify your intentions, and go for it. Put yourself out there, okay? That's the blessing. It's reminding you, just like the jumping spider, to be bold. The block. You have to make a choice, but you may not want to make the choice. This is a really good and simple block card. So Two of Pentacles, you find yourself juggling. You find yourself between two steps, as this one's illustrated. But if you try to carry too much, you're going to have a hard time getting your balance. So what you really need to do with the Two of Pentacles is always choose one thing. And that's what the page is saying here. Just take one and roll with it. And you're going to see a lot of action happening, okay? So don't overextend. Pretty simple with the block. And don't be afraid to let something go. Very much in alignment with the Empress card reverse, where she was holding on to something that she shouldn't or didn't need to, okay? So very clear messages when it came to blessings and blocks. Let's move on to the viewers and readers' choice. So with the viewers and readers' choice, we're going to be taking a look at some things that you can participate and ask me here. I'm going to scan the cards here real quick and take a look at what I think might be worth focusing on and let you vote. And then I'll pick one for myself too that I'm really curious about as a reader for this sign. So let me just get over here to my window here. And for those of you that are watching live, you can vote on this poll. If you are watching it on replay, you'll just have to trust that someone else is doing it. You do need to see the chat, so it's only going to work on mobile devices or computers, not TVs. All right, so viewer's choice. All right, so I want to look, I'm really curious about this, the Wheel of Fortune card. So I would love to see what's going on with attracting opportunities. And I'm going to put the wheel in there so you know what I'm talking about. I think that's a really cool card. The other thing that's coming through is how to hold court. And what I mean by that is sort of like how to feel like you are bold enough to be a part of all of this that's going on. So how to be seen and heard. And the last thing that I'd like you to vote on and consider, these two energies are very similar. So we have the Seven of Wands and the Two of Pentacles, pushing back, letting go, kind of finding your balance. So finding balance, pushing back if there's too much going on. So you guys will have a chance to vote on all of these while I am taking a look at these and seeing what else we can kind of focus on. All right, so I want to look at the change energy that we saw here with that particular the the wealth card. So let's just take a look at how you can ease into the energy of change. A lot of times it's easier said than done. So let's give this a shuffle and see what's going on. Reader's choice is focusing on how to ease into the energy of change. Page of Cups, you got to feel it. All right, so let's take a look at this card. As we look at this particular card, we see basically a revisiting here of the Queen of Cups energy. And when I look really close, it's almost as if you look, I can kind of see the Queen right out there calling you in and saying, you know the way, you can do this again. So success is not as hard as you think. Your heart is going to lead the way there. And we actually see a connection between the past and the future here. These cards almost go together, really. She's waiting there for you to come. So for some of you, this could be opportunity knocking. It could be a relationship knocking. And all that's holding you back is taking a step through the portal. Once you kind of go through the energy of change, there's this friendly sort of wave on the horizon here. So it's just about trusting your heart and having some fun and giving it a go. And I see what you were looking for. You might even reclaim a piece of yourself that you lost, because this is the inner you, right? So I like that. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at what's winning when it comes to the poll that I put out there. We have a clear winner, which is attracting opportunities. Very happy that you chose that one, because I think that's probably the best one to look at, because that'll help you be successful. So let's give the cards a shuffle and take a look at what's coming through for attracting opportunities. We're basically clarifying the spider web and the Wheel of Fortune there. Oh, interesting. We're going to clarify this one, so hold on a second. And I want to read this one more time. So the way that I put it in there was attracting opportunities. Okay, got it. All right, so let's pull one more to clarify the devil. Okay, got it. So we'll start first with Devil Reverse, which is actually about you being able to liberate yourself. So when you're looking at new opportunities, I love the illustration on this one. What is it? Strings attached. Strings are attached to these two people here. So if there's something and there's way too many stipulations, that is a big blinking red light that says, not this way, not now. There was an example in my life recently where, I was talking about someone who doesn't want help. If someone in your life gives you all these rules that you have to follow, it's annoying, isn't it? And it's like you're walking on eggshells, or that Annie Lennox song, walking on broken glass. I can't say this, I can't do this, I have to. It's like a control freak. That's actually what the devil card is. It's a control freak. So if there's someone in your life that stipulates the heck out of things, or I only love you when you do this, or that was good, but I really more like this, and that, like way too many stipulations all across the board. How can you ever be set up for success when all you're worried about is all these rules, right? Of course, we have to kind of use certain things to kind of like live on this planet. But when it comes to just not being able to say or act the way that you feel, when you can't be yourself, when you have to change who you are in order to achieve the success card that we saw here, the Six of Wands, I'd rather you get on the broom and fly here and go in another direction. And that's what we see here. I love this sort of witchy vibe with the Six of Wands. So you've got your own magic, and it's a higher energy than this one. So this is the limiting force, and this is saying, I don't think so. This isn't going to work with me. I'll find something else. So you have success in your future in multiple cards, whether it's the Wheel of Fortune or the Six of Wands. The Wheel of Fortune has both edges of the sword here. It shows you that you can weave the web or you can get stuck in the web. And the single thing that could hold you back a little bit from success is getting stuck in the web. Don't sign everything away. Don't give everything away. And don't feel like you have to sort of like acquiesce to someone's endless stipulations, because if it's a business contract and they want everything, under the sun for the rest of your life, and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to want to do in a couple of years, or maybe I'll want to license this to someone else, et cetera, et cetera. The contract, one time I was looking for an apartment and they would only allow for like 2-year leases. And I said, heck no, there's no way that I'm going to be able to commit to 2 years at a time. And it never went to month to month. And I thought, no, you're looking for, I don't know what you're looking for, but that's not it. So if there's too high of a stipulation, that's a surefire way to say you can do better. You might want to do this on your own. And the Six of Wands is encouraging you to find your own path. Okay? So hopefully that helps you. Let me see what else I want to talk about. Oh, Six of Wands in reverse. This also has to do with pressure. Lots of peer pressure and lots of pressure to succeed. So just remind yourself that you're doing something because it feels right and you're being led in that direction. All right? Do it for the right reasons. And again, this is someone trying to control you again. So you're going to step away from that and you're going to reclaim your control. I love this deck because we see that the devil energy is really just more of the threads and the chains that bind. And the best devil cards are the ones that don't really show the devil as we normally see it. We see instead the thing that's kind of entrapping you. Okay? So there you go. Pretty good energy across the board. And the good thing with the Six of Wands is it tells you, you've got this. Just don't get caught up in that web and don't let someone take more than they should get. And that also is a connection with the Five of Pentacles. Fight for more. You deserve it. Okay? Somebody just asked a good question in the chat, and I'm going to answer it to the best of my ability. So the way that I read is that whoever decides to show up either live or later, I'm tapping into your energy. So every reading that I do is a little bit different. I try to organize them by sign. So predominantly what we'll be looking at is Leo, but you could be anything. And if you're just really ready to receive the messages, then your guides and my guides came through and I'm going to align it. You may also have a placement, as someone else said. So do your whole chart. You'd be surprised at how even a small placement can open up something, especially if it's maybe you're in a rising, for instance, and all of this is making sense with work. That's why. So yeah, get your natal chart done, and you'd be surprised at how this all connects with it. But otherwise, I am a channel and I'm an intuitive, so you can show up to any of my readings if you ever need some help. If you're having a bad day, I don't care what sign you want. Just show up. You're always welcome. I do a lot of stuff that's not just sign specific. The stuff like blessings and blocks, and I could be picking up on whoever's here. So a lot of my viewers will show up for all of them. Show up at the collectives that I do every Sunday for sure, because that's another way to get a weekly checkpoint. Nice little segue into what's coming next. So by the way, if you do want to tune into one of those weekend readings, I'd love for you to show up. You can get more information on my website, and my live schedule is at the link I just put there below, and Maria, I know, has put that link out as well. Follow me on social media as well. I put little clips from these videos, so if you miss something or you're like, what's going on with this sign, you can get a little teaser and then come and watch the video if you're interested. Again, please subscribe if you haven't. It's absolutely free. It's the same as follow on Instagram or Facebook, and it helps more than you might imagine. And if you want to show a little bit of love and support, you can do it. It's always optional. Just being here is helpful. But if you want to give back and help me continue to buy some cool decks, which I will be doing, I have another one that's coming in. I just got a notice from the USPS that it's arriving today. So hopefully by Sunday, I'll have a couple of decks that I can use that are new. And then I'll do some shopping based on your contributions and your suggestions. So thank you so much. All right, let's take a quick look at what's coming up in the next portion here. We're to our final session here, or the final section rather. We're going to do a meditation, a sound bath, and then look at the final card. If you've never meditated with me and done the final card, here's how it works. Before we get into the meditation, which lasts like a minute to two max, so stick around, it's pretty short. I want you to write down something that you're curious about. I did my best to kind of look at all of the options, all the twists and turns, but I'm sure you have something unique to your situation and your moment in time. So scribble it down, tap it in your phone, or just hold it in your head while we're meditating, and then I will pull a card afterwards. But we're going to now move into meditation. Meditation will be pretty simple. We're going to take the spider web and free you from it. I'm going to help liberate you from all those sort of like strings and webs and cords and contracts. So we're going to do a little bit of a contract release today, which is very powerful, and I don't do it all the time, but I'm called to do it today. So while I'm getting everything set up here, I'm going to give you a chance to vote on what instrument you'd like me to use. I have a crystal pyramid that I can use, and I also have a singing bowl. Both of them that's also a glass one too. So there you go. There's a chance to vote. And now just sit back and relax, and let's meditate for a moment or two. All right, I want you to imagine that it's not like a regular spider or spider's web. I want you to see yourself as sort of more like a cosmic version of the spider. And this web is more energetic web than anything else. So see yourself as the weaver or the creator of your own web of fate. I want you to kind of take a look at what you've been able to attract in yours. So this could be more like a dream catcher if you want to see it as that, with beautiful crystals and things in it. But see this sort of glittering web filled with energy and filled with the bounty of your life, all the things that you really, really like. And give a moment to just pause as this cosmic spider and say, thank you for bringing these things to me. We always want to start off with gratitude. And then I want you to kind of close your eyes and really tune into the web and the frequencies of the web. And I want you to feel where the stuff is that you don't need. If people threw things into the web, family drama or trauma, if there was stuff that you absorbed from others and it's kind of stuck there and it's making the web not look pretty, I want you to kind of tune into where that's at and then gently go over there and clip the threads that bind this. And as we do some of this clipping, I want you to imagine if it's a person, you could say something like this. Thank you for the lessons you taught me. Thank you for the gift of insight. I no longer require the teaching and I dismiss you. I'm free to move on and so are you. Clip the threads. See their energy move away. Imagine that they're a moth or a butterfly and they're free from the web. They can fly too and they can do whatever they need to do. Go to the next thing. Maybe it's stuff that's been stuck in there, just garbage from the family or garbage from your mind and energy around you. And you're just going to say, I'm ready now to release the distractions in my life. I no longer need these weights to tether me in place. I release this from my life. I allow now the light to shine through. Feel that with each thread that you cut, and it's easy if you've ever seen a spider do it, it just kind of snips it with its one of its legs or with its jaw, with its mandible. So just go through and clip the threads, imagining that it's as easy as taking scissors to thread, and they just disappear. And now you may see, there's this gap in the web. At this point, I want you to weave in, and you could even imagine that you put words in the web or a picture like a constellation, because I could kind of see that working with the web. Weave in something that you want to see in the future. Put the blueprint of what it will be. And then move your little legs out there and imagine that kind of like a magician or like the Queen of Wands, that you can see it magically start to take shape. As we meditate today, I just want you to see yourself as this cosmic weaver and imagine that things are coming closer to you. If there's anyone or anything that you don't want in your life, let it go. See it leaving the web with wings. See it flying. Liberate yourself. Releasing yourself, releasing them will also release yourself. So just breathe and enjoy as I play the crystal pyramid, and then I will rejoin you in about 1 minute so we can take a look at your final question. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Take a look at the beautiful web that you've created and understand now that everything that you want to see come into fruition will, and everything that you want to release is already flying in another direction. You can feel yourself becoming lighter and brighter with each breath you take. Gently open your eyes when you're ready. I put Apollo completely to sleep. If you look in the background, he's up on his back or his belly, letting everything kind of like just absorb in. So maybe some of you want to just be like Apollo and chill out. Okay, we're going to take a look now at the final card. So realize again, the whole purpose of today was to set you up for that ability to create. So some of you may be asking, what can I create? Some of you might be asking, what's next? Some of you might have a very specific question. Hold on to it for a second before you type anything, and let's take a look and see what your silent question is. Yay, we've got our first Divine Masculine card here. We have the King of Pentacles coming through, card of House and Home, an ultimate card for manifestation and accomplishment. It's an emphatic yes, an absolute yes. And what we see here, the only thing that's kind of interesting is you may actually kind of get so much energy happening over the next few months that you get caught up in the manifestation a bit, or in the sort of work a bit here. So we see the vine going around his leg, going up around the throne. So there still may be opportunities in the weeks that come to make sure that there are no strings attached, that there's freedom, that you get up and move, that you have that sort of flexibility. But ultimately, as a yes-no, this is a yes. One thing that I would always say with the King card is to make sure that you don't lose track of why you're doing what you're doing and take time to talk to people around you. And if you do that, I think that you're going to be moving in the right direction. And ultimately, there's really nothing negative that I can say with this other than, again, there seems to be a little bit more work when it comes to making sure that there's no strings attached. The other thing that I see with this one is to take a look at, you don't have to do everything by the book, but as is the case often with history, when we know what hasn't worked, when we know when we understand kind of like what's out there and what's available, it can help inform our decisions. So do your research. I definitely think that's going to help you make your mind up and do the best in this next path. But you're definitely set up for success. And I'm happy that we got at least one King card today to really pull this in the right direction. Okay. King of Pentacles is always grounded. So keep things real. And when you're feeling sometimes that overwhelming energy that comes with the emotional part of yourself, remember what you can do with that. We talked about the importance of channeling it. Focus on the idea or the sort of general statement in your head that I am capable, I am ready, I am deserving, and I'm going to do this. So if you believe that, then you have the Midas touch, and that's usually what I ascribe to this particular card. Okay? Really great energy. Thank you so much. So, I actually receive a lot when I'm able to be here and channel for you, so I can kind of get a vibe for each sign. I feel really good about what's coming through for you, Leo. I feel like there's some really great energy that's presenting itself. It's just a question of trusting yourself, believing in yourself, and being strong. You can do that. That's part of your avatar for this particular sign. So a couple of quick notes, and then we'll get into the gratitude portion, and I'll pull up maybe Sleeping Beauty at the end because he's got to go for a walk anyway, but I'll wait until we're ready. So cute. All right, so a couple of quick notes here. First of all, if you want information like what deck I'm using, give me like a couple hours and I'll make sure that I put this on the decks portion. But I do list all this on my website. I try to support small artists when I can, so I love this one. Let me see who the deck creator was. Her name is Nikki Ferrata. She's really cool. She actually even replied to me when I was writing to her on Etsy because I didn't get tracking information. She's cool. No kickbacks, nothing on this. I just like supporting an artist. So great deck, great suggestion. If you want to join me on social media, here's all the links here. Would love to have you follow me. And a reminder, special reminder, I don't always say this, but there are a lot of imposters out there. So if anyone tries to message you, ask you for something, ask you for money, offer you a reading, it is fake. The only way that we can connect is right here in a live reading here on Instagram, or on YouTube or Instagram, where I do lives, or on TikTok. Very rarely do I do it on Facebook, but you'll see my mouth moving and hear my voice, and you'll know that's me. Otherwise, check out all the links to make sure that you're at the right social media personality, okay? I also do not offer any longer any private readings, so unless you've had one, I'm just not offering them anymore. So just if someone's offering you one, that's not me now, okay? Some of you may have had it with me in the past, but I don't do that. So I just try to do that to help people understand who the real Nicholas Ashbaugh is. All right, like I said earlier, please subscribe if you haven't. It's free. It perplexes me why some people don't hit the subscribe button, but please do that. And if you want to get notifications, you can click the bell. And finally, I'm going to say thanks here in just a moment for all of you that have been able to join me and give back a little bit. And he is so zen in the background. It makes me laugh. All right, let's do the gratitude now, and I'll pull him up at the very end because I'm going to take a walk, like I said, with him. All right, so just to give some thanks and gratitude, I want to say thank you. If you're brand new especially, I hope you enjoyed this today. I'll be live again on the weekend. And let's see, since I just did Leo, fast forward to next week, I'll be doing Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio as well, okay? So feel free to join me this weekend and next week and every week, basically, if you'd like to. I'm always live on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday, and I throw in some impromptu readings whenever I feel like it and whenever there's something that feels like it's good for you guys. So let's go ahead now and say thanks to the folks that were able to give back a little bit today. First of all, I just want to acknowledge how many people. I see a lot of members today, so I want to say thanks to existing members and existing Patreon supporters. This is all possible because of you. And I want to say thank you to some new folks now. So let's start with anybody who became a member in the last day. Give me 1 second to just open this up. And here we go. I think I saw this name when I first logged in this morning. So Pamela Frisbee, cool name. Thank you for rejoining after 2 months. Good to have you here. And let's see, Corey Stewart rejoining after after 3 days, 3 months rather, rejoining a day ago. Yuri Gonzalez rejoining after 1 month. And I think that's everyone from the past 24 hours or so. So thank you so much if you're a new member or rejoining. Looks like everybody's rejoining that has been here before, so I appreciate that. All right, let's say thanks to anyone that gave back in a sticker or chat, super sticker, super chat. By the way, I forget to say it sometimes, but you can also give back on replay with the super thanks. And I always kind of heart those later. All right, so kicking things off today, thank you to Anita for that initial $10 and kicking things off. I appreciate it. Anita Vora. We Out Here Effect, thank you as well. Sarah, Amber Perez, Galaxy's Greatest Treats Tarot, Jeannie Hart, Angela Kirk, and big thank you there to LK as well. Thank you so much to all of you for showing up today, giving back a little bit in love and support, and it's good to see you. I hope you have some fun plans for the weekend and the week ahead and the month ahead. As I said earlier, you can always use this for your sun, rising, and moon, and it's good for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Let's see if I can get Sleeping Beauty up. Hey, buddy. Oh, you're already up. Want to say hi to the channel? Did you enjoy your meditation, buddy? He's like, yes, but I'll enjoy it when you give me some food. So his hair and his face is all scrunched up, but there we go. Lots of love from this little furry assistant. Yeah, and for me as well. Thank you so much for your help today. Thanks to Maria for your assistance with, thank you, buddy. I appreciate the kisses. For your assistance today. And I hope all of you do something fun. Remember the one thing that we saw a little bit earlier was that's you, buddy. The comic here. So we need the comic relief. Do something to really allow for some love and light in your life, okay? In the meantime, I'm going to go spend some quality time with this little furry guy, and I wish you all the best, okay? Take care, everybody, and have a great week and month ahead. Bye-bye.